13th seeded Wake Forest Demon Deacons come into this game with not many things to boast of. Their big win that they had this season coming up against the Indiana Hoosiers of the Big Ten. The Indiana Hoosiers ended up winning the Big Ten regular season crown for their wins in that conference. So that's their top 25 win. It's their only big win of the season. It's a very big win. If they had done more to kind of help out and to see what they had done so far this season, but outside of Indiana, there's really nothing else to talk about. When you look at Wake Forest, they went on to lose 16 of 18 games in the ACC regular season. Their only wins came against NC State, who finished 5-13 in the ACC and with a losing record overall of 15-16. And then you look at Boston College was the other win that Wake Forest had. They ended 0-18 in the ACC, 7-24 overall. And the win that Wake Forest had over NC State, well, the second time they played NC State, they lost to them. So kind of negated there. So really nothing to talk about. Wake Forest beating up on other teams at the bottom of the ACC, but none of the other teams higher than that. However, it is important to note that they played Virginia Tech twice. They lost to Virginia Tech by 2 the first time that they played them, which was on the road at Virginia Tech. Then they lost by 7 to Virginia Tech. They lost by 1 to Virginia. They lost in double overtime to Pittsburgh. So it took Pitt 2 overtimes on their home court at the Peterson to defeat Wake Forest, and they lost by 8 to Duke on the road at the end of the ACC regular season. So they don't have the wins to put them in, obviously, to the NCAA tournament, but it is important to note that Wake Forest has been in big games with Duke, with Virginia, as well as with Pitt and with Virginia Tech on 2 separate occasions. They're playing NC State in the first game that they have in the ACC tournament here in 2016 in Washington, D.C. Like I said, they split with NC State 1-1 in the regular season. Another team that was at the bottom. They're 1-3 in the last 4 games, speaking of the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. And to look at their seniors, 2 more seniors you want to send off the right way. But this has been a very difficult season. A team, like I said, that's been able to hang with some, defeat an Indiana team that was at the top of the Big Ten at the end of the regular season. But still, Wake Forest not doing enough, which is tough. But when you look at the seniors in forward Devin Thomas as well as guard Cody Miller-McIntyre, Devin Thomas is averaging a double-double with just under 16 points per game and 10 rebounds per game. And then Cody Miller-McIntyre, 9 points per game, 4 rebounds per game, 4 assists per game. These 2 guys make it very, very difficult. There's talent throughout the roster of this team with Wake Forest when we look at Wake Forest. And to look at sophomore forward Konstantinos Mitroglou as well, to look at his numbers and what he's been able to do inside and out. This is a guy that's not going to have a phenomenal night every single night, but you can't leave him on the outside of the arc and you can't leave him on the inside. He balances his points between inside play and outside play. Konstantinos Mitroglou is somebody that can, if he gets hot, if he gets going, then Wake Forest can be a dangerous team. They're a team like Boston College that's playing for their lives. They have to go through and run the table in the entire ACC tournament. I don't see them doing it. However, I do see Danny Manning in his second season at the helm of the Wake Forest Demon Deacons doing some good things. He obviously has the help of Cody Miller-McIntyre and the help of Devin Thomas, his vets. But this is a guy who is trying to put together his system, implement his recruiting, his talent that he's going after, and it's really put together something special. I think it says a lot to be a bottom dweller of the ACC, but still play teams like Pitt, like Virginia Tech, like Virginia, like Duke, close, get within 10, and in certain situations like the game against Virginia, to come within 1 of getting a victory in one of the hottest teams across the nation, not just in the ACC. So I don't see Wake Forest, the number 13 seed in the ACC tournament, really going anywhere in this tournament, and obviously not making it to the NCAA tournament. But it is good to see Danny Manning is getting some things done, feeling some strides, and seeing this team at least be competitive in the big games in the ACC.